All right, ladies and gents, we are live with Truth Will Set You Free, episode number 23. Right now, our only host, because Curtis is running late, he's on a church group, or at least he says he's on a church group. We've got Kelly and myself. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about COVID and the economy, Trump's handling of COVID, mail-in voting, and as you can see, we've got some guests as well. We got Jam Time, Jamila Fort, Lauren Saloon, Bobby Sausalito, a.k.a. Takenaps, Bobby Sauce, Khalid, I don't know how I pronounce his name. Doesn't matter because his wife made him back out on doing the show. No more politics for Big Cat. Apparently, he didn't do well enough yesterday.
Horrible. That's horrible.
Typically, I'd be nice, but you know, when you bail on me 20 minutes before a show, that's on you. I'm gonna go a little hard. Cash, we're ready to get started. How you doing?
You know what? God is good. Let me just say that God is so good. I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Fantastic. Well, we're about to get started. Everybody share this out there. Anthony Mascaret says Take Naps is on. Love his Instagram page. So we got some fans for Mr. Bobby Sauce. And awesome. Looks like people are coming in here. We're getting started. People are mad that we were late. And this time it was not Cash's fault, if you were
That's
wondering.
Right. I ran on regular time, not black people time today.
If anybody hasn't watched Cash, he's black. So he's allowed to say that.
I'm an American. I'm just darker skinned.
There you go. How many different things can I possibly do? Oh my God, Mom's behind me. Where'd she come from?
Mom.
The meatloaf. Anyways.
Meatloaf, Mom. Mom.
I want to thank you guys for joining us today. We got a good episode. Don't worry, Mom. You can go back and forth. It's fine. Nobody cares. I'm a typical Italian. I'm here in a house with his mother.
Hey, Baba the Beef. Baba Boo.
Hey, where's the meatballs? Anyways, today's episode, she's Jewish, which makes the joke not even funny. So today's episode, we're talking about a couple of different things: COVID and the economy, Trump's handling of it, voter suppression / voter fraud. There's two different things going on. And also we're going to make some cool introductions because Cash and I have been talking for a while about a show called ConserVengers. And we're working on that. We've got Angry Viking is in, Cash is in. Lauren Saloon, one of our guests today, she is going to be the estrogen needed in order to make us not completely sexist. And then, of course, Bobby Sausalito, I briefly talked to him, Mr. Take Naps. He's also going to be a part of it. It's going to be a conservative group that's also funny at the same time, because I think a lot of times people think that conservatives aren't funny. Cash, are we funny?
I think I'm pretty hilarious. Yeah. And I can't believe you did not like that. Did you say that's an ignorant thing to say because I said I ran on regular time and not black time today? It's not even a joke at this point. I'm late everywhere that I go. And it's specifically because that's just how I grew up that way. You know, I was taught that. It's not racist. I'm black. I could say it. It's okay.
Hence the tank top. Speaking of tank top, Cash has been rocking some really cool gear this last week, which he decided, why wear it for the show? Might as well just talk about it.
I can go get it.
No, you're good. I know you were running late, so it works out. You're running just on time, I should say. But if anybody's interested, I'm wearing a BeTheChange shirt. Cash was wearing it in a couple of videos this last week. It supports what we do on top of our Patreon. So if you want to check out where to go, just go to #BeTheChange.com and shop at the top of the page. We've got hats. We've got dad hats. We've got shirts, long sleeve shirts, etc. It'll be good. So if you guys want to support us, that's one way to do it. The other way to support us on our Patreon below, as you can see, patreon.com /BeTheChangeUSA. Go to that, and I actually am doing a bunch of interactives with people where we're doing one every 2 weeks where we go and just have an hour talk with all of the Patreons. So make sure you join. With that said, that's out of the way. How's Streetlights going, Cash? What do we got coming up next?
Streetlights is doing dope. What we have coming up next? What do we have coming up next?
We're filling the rest of the 50 groups. So we've got another volunteer meeting next week. So if you do want to be a part of Streetlights, you got to check that out because we've got 20 of the pages filled. Cash is actually going to be posting in the next day on his personal page the other 20 pages. These streetlights groups are for the specific purpose of helping people out in your local community. There's one per state. What's up, Cash? Looks like you have a question.
Also, Streetlights is going to be repping in Valparaiso, Indiana at the Freedom Rally. I will be there this Friday. So if you're in Indiana, close to Indiana, Kentucky, you want to come up to Valparaiso, come on. I'm going to be there. It's going to be a great time. You guys should come out and support.
Excellent. Somebody else just told me that you were on, I think somebody on Fox News, they played a clip of yours. You were on some kind of national news. One of my mom's friends. Your friend Cash was on Fox News. Cool. Thanks. Good to know. Cool.
I didn't know that. I really didn't know that.
Well, now you do. If you don't know, now you know.
Can you find that clip? Because that's pretty awesome.
I tried looking for it when they said it. I'll look for it. But I mean, you've been on everybody else in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So there's that. All right. So here's what we're going to do, ladies and gents. We're going to introduce our guests. That's pretty much the gist of our starting. Also, if you could do me one other favor, another way to help us out without having to spend anything is check out the YouTube, youtube.com/C/BeTheChange USA. Let's get that page built up as well. And you guys all probably know where to follow Cash at this point because that's probably for the most part why you're here. Fantastic. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and start introducing our guests. I see a lot of people popping in the box showing where they're from. So I'm pretty excited to have this gentleman on. This is actually an introduction. Make sure you watch this guy from one of our others, Lauren, who totally fangirled and then got us hooked up with Bobby. And Bobby actually replied to one of my messages, which is great, probably because I said, hey, I know Cashley Kelly and I work with him. And that's probably the only reason, but whatever. We'll talk about that another time. I'll bring that up to the psychologist this week. So we're going to bring him up. He's going to be one of our hosts for ConserVengers once we get that started, hopefully in the next week. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Take Naps, Bobby Sausalito.
Yo, what's good? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Happy to be here.
Nice to have you, my brother.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Bobby,
it.
Tell us a little bit about you, your background, etc.
Well, yeah, I'm originally from the Northeast. I started making Instagram videos a couple years ago, and probably about 8 weeks ago, I had one that just kind of blew up overnight. I've been pumping out very political, economic, and kind of humor laced into those types of videos for the last 6 to 8 weeks, and they've been doing really well. And a lot of people have been reaching out and giving me positive feedback. So I'm just trying to talk to as many people as I can and get people to think differently, do their research, and maybe vote for Donnie Baseball.
So my dad was he's from New Jersey. You're from Connecticut but live in Florida, right?
From Connecticut, live in South Florida. Yeah, it's a lot better here, a lot more free.
My dad always used to have like the back east phrases. Your go-to is what's some of your go-tos? You got jabron.
I mean, I have a lot at this point. Like jabroni is definitely the go-to. I think as far as names for people like Joey Basement, Basement Biden, Comrade Krusty the Clown,
I like it.
Governor Gaslight, Gavin Mussolini, the heavily lacquered sun god of San Francisco, Bill de Blasio, Bill de Garbio, Governor Dehydrated Owl for Cuomo in New York.
Oh my God.
Big Gretch. I just did Big Gretch. What did I say? Big Gretch, the tyrant of America's upper mitten. That would be Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan. And there's just quite a few. Billy the Diddler for Bill Clinton. That's another favorite.
The Diddler. I get that because it did. Okay, that makes
sense. With the diddling. Yeah.
So if you guys haven't checked out his 3 to 10 minute videos, make sure you go to Take Naps on Instagram. They're hilarious. And you do one a day
right now.
I do one like kind of like primary one a day, but sometimes if the mood strikes, I'll push out 2 or 3 if I just get inspired to do so. But I think as we lead up to the election, I'm going to try to put out as many as I possibly can.
Oh, so you're treating it just like your poops. One a day minimum, maybe 3 a day if you're feeling good, and closer to the election, just a whole bunch of shit happening.
Sure.
Take Naps. You follow me already. I didn't know that. I'm about to follow you back, brother.
Yeah, dude. Let's go. Come on. Let's get on it.
Oh, shit. All right. We're going to introduce our next guest on the show. So right now it's a whole lot of conservative, and we're going to add one more conservative to the mix. You've seen her on one of our other episodes, Lauren Saloon.
What is up, you guys? Thanks for having me back. I'm super excited. And yes, major fangirl moment over here. Like, I don't even know, Bobby, how I stumbled upon your stuff. Someone I'm following reshared you, and I was like, yes, spirit animal, here we go. And yeah, so I am here for it. Super pumped, excited to chat with y'all. It's I was going to say it's always a fun conversation, but I've literally, this is my second time. So the last time was super fun as well. Yeah, I'm based in Los Angeles, but currently in Palm Springs, California. And let's get weird.
I'm down to get weird.
With the beard. So before I bring on our final guest, our last guest, and not that she's last, she's still first in the hearts of
She's
many.
Freaking dope. Let me
funny.
do it.
She's hilarious. You want to introduce before you do? This group right here is going to be part of what I mentioned, the like Avengers, but ConserVengers, and we're going to have another show on BeTheChange. It'll be shorter. It'll be more comedy based, and it'll be a bunch of funny conservatives. We're going to add Angry Viking to the mix, and we're still looking for possibly one more, but we'll see. Maybe we should have Jam on. Even though we don't fully agree with her, she is quite funny.
She's dope. She's dope.
Right. So, all right, go ahead. You got
to the panel. One of our great friends. I love her. She's outspoken. She speaks her mind. And even though she might be a liberal right now, she is switching over slowly to walking away and becoming a real American and voting Trump 2020. Let me introduce to you my dear friend, whom I love, Jam.
Oh, you are certainly something else. So, hey y'all, my name is Jam. Anthony found me. None of this little, I found Anthony, and Anthony, he found me. He sought me out. Anthony might be the reason I'm here. Cash is the reason why I came back. I'm just Cash,
you just made my night, girl.
2020. I'm probably not. But I love Cash. I love you guys. I love being on the show. I am originally from upstate New York. Cowtown. We have our own apple from my town, the Cortland apple. Now you know where I'm from. And I'm 8 years deep in Baltimore City, and I just bought a house here. Baltimore Public Schools educator, future CEO of schools. Holla at your girl in 10 years running the thing. But currently serving as a math coach. Pretty much a liberal. I have some moderate ideals, which is why I get along with my people here. But I'm here. A lot of y'all don't like me. It's fine. I like myself.
We love you.
I'm ready.
I love you. And I don't say that to too many liberals. I love you. I said I love you, and I don't say that to too many liberals.
Oh my God, I love you.
I'm kidding. I said that to everybody. That was just a joke, everyone. I'm a uniter, okay? I love everybody. I'm just throwing the jokes because we got a liberal on the show, so got to throw the jokes.
You
but this is how we show unity. Jam, you love me, I love you, and look, we on both different sides of the fence. You know what I'm saying? Same color fence, though.
No, that's.
I feel so left out.
I know, Lauren. We're gonna do the awkward white high five.
Yeah.
All right. So before we jump into it, this is a podcast. So if you don't get to catch all of this, make sure you check it out. Our podcast network is extremely easy to find. You just go to #BeTheChange.com/podcast. So all of this will be up tomorrow. All of our previous shows as well. I feel like this one's going to be a little funnier than usual. Not a lot of arguing probably in this group, but we will have discussions. Unfortunately, again, we lost somebody. Cash, I missed your video earlier because I know a lot of people probably watch Khalid. Is that how he pronounced his name? It does. I don't know. If anybody was watching Just Face It and the show that they had on yesterday, he did not handle himself great because he was not able to make a full opinion or a full thought. And I was going to be really nice to him, but now that he bailed on me, I don't really care. He failed miserably during that show.
No, he didn't. Look, he did a good job for being on the other side. The man, he handled himself well. All right. And he is a really dope dude. And that's what I was going to say. See, with him, you got to understand, he's not a conservative at all. He's not voting Trump, but the dude's got a heart of gold, and he wants the exact same thing that we want as far as unity. You know what I'm saying? He wants to see the change. And that's why I don't give a damn if you're a conservative, if you're a liberal, Republican, Democrat. It doesn't matter. As long as you're at that core goal of wanting unity and wanting people to come together, I'm all for you. I don't care who you're voting for at the end of the day. I mean, I do right now because until election time, it's Trump 2020, baby.
Hey.
Oh, I'm wearing the hat. But I'm not going to let that divide me from loving you as my brother and my sister.
Well, I have to out him real quick because he sent me a text that he probably wouldn't think I'm going to share, but I'm going to. Just so you know, he did vote for Trump in 2016. He didn't want people to know that, But you know what? When you bail on me 20 minutes before, there is no secret that I will not tell. So
that's messed up. Good to know. Godfather to my daughter. Good to know.
You're always late, so I'm just used to it. It's no big deal. All right.
I'm about to say, you don't put all my fucking business out there.
Anywho. All right, so let's get started. So this is the topic. I'm hoping Curtis comes back in for talking a little bit about voter suppression. So let's start with COVID and the economy, because I think there's a lot of misconceptions about the fact that we're handling it worse than everybody else in the world, or there's some people that think that we are handling it the worst in the world. Jam's already taking deep breaths. Here we go. I want to go ahead and I'm going to go, if Bobby, if it's all right, what do you think of the way that our economy has reacted to COVID? And you could talk about Trump's reaction, our economy, et cetera. You don't have to go global just yet.
Well, I think what's going on is very unfair. I think a lot of it is not based in very much science. I think at the very, very beginning, I don't think that shutting things down was necessarily the wrong decision. But I think that by this point, the science behind it is just not supporting what they're doing. I think that there's a lot of other collateral damage that's happening as a result of all this stuff being shut down. And I think it's about time that we open everything back up. And I think that we need to let people decide for themselves what they should do with their life. And I think that in places like New York, for example, where the deaths have been very low, and if you look at the statistics and you look at what the WHO has been saying and you look at what the CDC is saying and you look at all of the facts and actually pay attention to it, you see that this is probably actually not helping and is doing a lot more damage than it is helping. So I think that it's really unfair to a lot of small business owners. I think they're getting destroyed. I think the fact that I could go to Target, but I couldn't go to a small mom and pop is insane. And I think that it's just extremely unfair, and it's about time that we open up pretty much all the way across. I love that I live in Florida, and I give a lot of credit to Ron DeSantis for opening up the state of Florida. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. And it's not like it's not like there's just deaths all over the place. I mean, you can look at the statistics and look at the numbers. And I think that by this point, it's about time that we open things back up. I mean, we saw what happened after the championship game in Los Angeles last night or whatever. There's tens of thousands of people in the street, not to mention the fact during all the protests, there was millions of people in the street. Yet you can't go to a small concert. You can't go to a barbershop. I mean, the whole thing is just preposterous. And I think that we've given it plenty of time to flatten the curve, so to speak. I don't think that the science supports what's going on anymore. And I think that it's about time that we open back up and let people make free decisions for themselves. This is a free country. This is America. And this is getting too ridiculous at this point.
The only thing that I was in support of the post.
Jam's about to pop off.
I was actually pretty happy when they started chanting Kobe last night, or what was that, 2 nights ago? Mm-hmm. I got excited for that. I was like, oh, you guys need to just go. I don't really care anymore. Oh, they're chanting Kobe. Cool. Jam was breathing very heavy while you were talking, but before we go to her, I'm going to let her breathe heavier a little bit more. You know what? I'm going to let Cash get into it. Cash, what's your opinions on this whole still being locked down economy, COVID, etc.?
Well, I mean, here, let me just say this. When it first hit, the man said, "No more China," right? They called him all kind of names for it. They thought he was overreacting. And then the COVID really got serious. And then they're like, he didn't act enough. He didn't act fast enough. He should have done this. He should have done that. So everything's on lockdown. Then they're like, well, we're locked in our house. We want to be able to go out and do stuff. People lost jobs, which Trump said things needed to open back up. He been said things needed to open back up. But in your state, they're like, no, we don't want to open back up. Some say we will open back up. We'll do this. I did notice this. In liberal Democratic ran cities and states, they opened back up bars. Kept a lot of other things closed down. But they opened back up the bars. And it was right around the time where people was burning down cities and rioting and looting. And I was wondering, like, is this a ploy? Like, are they opening up bars but not churches because they don't want people to pray about this reaction that's happening in the country? They want people to get drunk and go and terrorize shit. That's how I took it. I think that Trump handled it very well. He did not create panic, as they tried to do. He shut down what he could shut down to get people to be cool. He didn't overdo the whole mask thing, like you got to wear a mask everywhere that you go. You know, when you're around people, wear it. But if you're, chilling, whatever, do your thing. It's up to you, even though that the mask was proven not to really do shit for you,
Careful.
I'm just saying, it's the truth. It says it on the mask. It says it on the mask. All right. So I think he did a very good job. And the economy up until that point was booming. Economy was doing fantastic. Then this stuff happened. Economy kind of drops. They want to blame him for people losing jobs when really no, it wasn't him. It was COVID, which is all around the world, not just here in America. Trump didn't create it. China did. So if you want to be mad at somebody, blame China. Don't blame the president. If you want to blame the president for your state being locked down, don't blame the president. Blame your state. Okay?
I love that Jam is rocking out on the bottom like Terrence Williams in his videos, just eating like, really? Really? So here's the deal. To what Cash said, and this, the whole reason I wanted to bring this up is I kind of got into it on a friend of mine's page, which I will post later tonight, an 8-minute video of me scrolling through all of the messages and how hateful the coronavirus numbers are in terms of that conversation and the fact that people think that.
Wait, which ones? Which coronavirus numbers? The right ones or the wrong ones?
I'm going to show them. I'm showing the global. It's more.
There's a lot of numbers out there.
I know.
I think Joe said it was 200 billion, trillion, gazillion.
I would like to know the right numbers as well, Anthony. So.
Okay, so I'm gonna go. We're gonna have the global discussion in a second. But this is how it all started, was because my mom commented on Chad's page. Chad ended up. He goes, I didn't know this was going to be about a debate, because Chad was like, hey, look at all, the numbers are going back up. Which, yes, the cases are going back up. We also 40% of the country has been tested for COVID, which is much higher than almost everywhere else in the world. I'll get into that in a second. But ultimately, you look at it and the way that people engage, my mom's like, hey, because she's a naturopath, she's a physician, and she looks at things from a perspective of natural health, taking care of yourself. And people keep saying, you're not listening to science. Science actually has been changing daily. What has not been changing since day one is people that are overweight, people that smoke, Cash, people that don't take care of themselves are people that naturally don't take care of themselves are the ones that are more susceptible to dying. The overweight group, all that group. That's the only science that has not changed since day one. And then they yell at her and me, and they're saying like, "Oh no, you're not listening to science." Clearly, I'm like, what the fuck conversation were we just having? I don't know where the disconnect is. And honestly, the mask thing to me is, yeah, I mean, it catches a little bit on the way out. Might as well do it. I'll tell you, on the airplane, that was the dumbest thing I've ever felt like I was doing after they spaced us out in DFW by 6 feet. We're like, all right, you can't stand that close to somebody. And then we were on a completely full flight and we were shoulder to shoulder. And then they actually had to tell us, if in case of needing the oxygen mask, you actually have to take your other mask off. I'm like, wow, they think we're really fucking dumb. And then they made it even worse. I had a chick next to me. I'm sorry, a woman next to me sitting there, and we were both having a good laugh. And they actually came over to tell everybody, we do ask that all of our patrons please wash their hands for at least 20 seconds after using the lavatory. I'm like, they're treating us like children. And then her and I realized that any Britney Spears chorus gets it done. So, Jam, you're on mute. Jam, it is now your turn. What's your opinion on how Trump has handled coronavirus?
Oh God.
Be real,
Jam. Here, just to go back to your BC rates, I'm over here eating salads. I'm having weight loss surgery next Wednesday. So the next time I'll be on the show, I'll be extra liberal and extra snatched. Anyway.
Hey.
Just saying.
Ooh, girls got them now.
All right. Going back to how I feel about this whole stupid ass situation. So I want to go back to Bobby, right? Bobby Sauce. So
here we go.
So we know that we knew about coronavirus in January, right? Kamala loves to talk about it. You knew about it January 23rd. By the way, y'all,
hey, Jam.
Feel Kamala, right?
Hey, Jam.
Huh?
You know Kamala's a really nasty individual, right? When I heard her speaking in the vice president debate, I put a condom on my TV so I didn't catch the virus from her.
You're stupid.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So we all know that we knew the information, and really, I guess one of the bigger issues why people are so skeptical about the fact that we had some information possibly about COVID in January is because suddenly rich people, the 1% are trading out stocks and la la la, and that's the only reason why we didn't know sooner.
Also, Democratic politics.
Well, I'm just saying, the point really is that we're in this shithole now, and we dug ourselves very deep in a hole. My feelings are about this, and I'm going to refer back to just my personal career, right? I ran 2 pilots this summer for my CEO and chief of schools this summer, 1 virtual and 1 in-person pilot. So I was back in school in person with children in the building, practicing all the safety protocols to bring kids back to school. This for me, like Bobby said, he was like, let people make their own decisions. And as much as like, I want that to be the case, I don't like it to be the case because there is a population of people that are affected by coronavirus. We had someone at our school that's 38, young and healthy, die of COVID virus. And not just COVID-like symptoms, because I'm not that liberal that's like, oh, everybody who said they died of COVID, because people are being deemed as dying from COVID, but because they had COVID and died of a heart attack, they're saying they died of COVID. I already know that conspiracy, whatever, like this person died of COVID. So it's a really sad case for me. So I wean and toddle back and forth because I do agree with Bobby. Like, it does suck. Target is open. Like, you know what I mean? Target is open. We up in there. They don't have any limit on the people in there. We're standing in long lines to get out of Target. And I personally don't go to Target. I do the drive up. I don't even go inside the store. And yeah, Bobby, I'm a big fan of small businesses, period. But I'm also a big fan of safety. The issue is, Anthony, like you said, the science changes every single day. The damn cotton masks, like you said, Cash, don't really protect us. But I think that the COVID situation is we shut down and we're Americans and we're fucking spoiled and we want to do what we want to do. We're the freest country in the world and we're used to being free. I was scared to go outside. Like, the hysteria was that real. Like, I'm out here acting like Ebola is floating in the air. For like 2 weeks, I changed smoked cigarettes. It did not leave my house. I Instacarted, got pissed when they didn't bring me my cans of ginger ale because it was too fucking lazy. And I was spending money ordering mad food. The problem is we got too deep in it, right? Everyone's pressuring, we need to shut down, we need to shut down. And then I just find it hilarious now. Everyone's like, we need to open up, we need to open up. So is it fucking safe or is it not fucking safe? In my opinion,
it's not safe. But the world is safe.
Wait a minute.
Like,
this is a virus that has a 99.
How is it not safe?
9% survival rating.
Where did you get 99 when 4.6% of people who will get, so the flu, right, is 1.2%. 4.6% of people, right now, that's the rate. 4.6% of people are dying when they have COVID.
No, that's a CNN number.
No.
That's not
true.
A mathematical number.
No.
That I went on the internet.
That's not true.
Who was dying and how many?
No, that was a CNN internet, though.
That's not a CNN number. I promise you, I calculated.
No. The internet that you was using was CNN internet.
No, I used the numbers. That's not true. That is not true because I'm a mathematician. So I went online. I figured out how many people were dying of COVID-related illnesses or COVID period, and divided by the population, and figured out that that's basically on average 4.6%. I did not pull that from CNN.
Right? No, Chris, I feel you. What I'm saying is that the numbers is wrong. They're not wrong right now to you because every death that they counted as COVID could have been a lightning strike, motorcycle accident, a giraffe.
Could be, but how many is that really?
Well, I can tell you, I know personally some people that have had completely unrelated heart attacks that are considered that. But I want to answer Bobby. Bobby goes, what do you mean it's not safe? I mean, the world isn't safe. Life isn't safe.
Correct.
You can get the flu.
Yeah.
You can get a heart attack. You can get secondhand smoke. Like, we've been living through this forever. There's the statistic was for kids under the age of 24. There's a 36 times greater chance of dying in a car accident than dying of COVID. So the world isn't safe. So why are we shutting down over something that has, here's the deal. It is in certain age groups, 99.99% to what you were saying, Jam. In the United States of America, total cases that end in deaths out of 1 million is 666. So that's
evil. That's evil.
That was evil.
That's the number as of today.
That number on here because that just said no. But the point is Anthony, it's just really contagious. Is the problem? Is the fact that we can't be out with each other is because it's very contagious. It's more contagious than the flu. And not saying that. Saying that the numbers are irrelevant or relevant or not. You know, it's more contagious. And I feel bad because, like, I think about my students. And we go back to school. I'm actually a proponent of going back to school. I don't think it's that unsafe to go back to school with the necessary safety precautions set up to go back to school. And everybody in my city knows that about me. However, I have a lot of kids who live with grandparents. Those are the only sole proprietors. So what, they're going to go home with COVID because they got it at school. And for them, we all know they're probably going to be all good. I'm probably going to be all good. But they're going to go home and give it to their parents or their grandparents. And then they're going to die. And then, like, who's going to take care of them? They're going to be a product of the system. So, like, although I would agree with Bobby that in some cases, some places should be opened up. Small businesses, open up. Concerts, okay, if that's your business, you want to go. But when it comes to government institutions, especially revolving around children, I don't think that it's a great idea. Do I think that virtual learning is better than in-person learning? Absolutely not. It's a piece of shit. It's so horrible. These teachers, even good teachers, don't know what they're doing. However, as far as some, like, there has to be a way and balance of where the virus is actually killing people, and it's killing older people. So how could we prevent that from happening aside from just shutting everybody down and keeping them home, or making Target open, having Instacart with these deals and shit like that? So I think it's a clip toss. It really is a clip toss for me.
So what do you suggest?
Go ahead, Bob.
Sorry. So what's the solution?
So I think that, Bobby, like what you were saying about, like, it's people's own business to open up business, but, like, even if small businesses open up, right? Like, people will still have hysteria and not visiting them. But if they open up businesses and they do some trace contact, and the trace contact is they're getting them from these places, they're going to have to shut them down. But I say, open up the world. I still say some safety precautions definitely should be in place. Like, I personally, regardless, will never stand more than 6 feet away from somebody again in the grocery store. Like, I'll wear a mask, don't touch me. You're nasty. People don't wash their hands. I watch them. They come out the back and they don't wash their hands. Okay? You're nasty. So I would say open up places where people have free choice to go, but where kids and old people don't have choices to go. Do not force people to do that, because there is a risk in going out there. COVID is deadly, period. Whether it is as deadly as they say, it is deadly.
Well, so does that mean keep the schools closed, or keep the schools open?
So my CEO, of whom I love, Dr. Santelises, what up? She is on Biden's short list for Secretary of Education, actually. Her and Cammie Anderson.
Don't worry, she'll be keeping your job. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but either way, so it's the school situation is, again, forcing children to go to school when there's a deadly pandemic because institutions aren't taking the time to make sure that virtual learning is as effective as it could be. It's not fair. I mean, I work in an inner city school district. Many of my kids don't get taken care of by their parents. So to say that they would go to school, and I'm almost done, Cash, I promise, to say to go to school, get sick, bring home, and kill the only family members that they have taken care of them is a step backwards for my Black community in my district, and I'm not with it. But we have safe places.
So no one should go to school?
Right. Well,
I got a solution. I got a solution.
I'm gonna have Lauren talk right after Cash. Cash, go ahead, and then I gotta say one real quick thing to that response from Jam.
Okay, so what I just gathered was old people die from COVID. Kids shouldn't go to school because they have old people in their house.
And teachers who are old and administrators. I'm sorry,
gotcha.
I left that out.
So solution. Make all the old teachers do the e-learning with the kids that have old parents, so they don't have to go to school. Put the young teachers. I had some really pretty young teachers when I was in school. I had crushes on.
Did you? Okay. Did you have a Miss Sport?
No, I had a Miss Santana.
Oh.
But anyway, that was. I'm gonna leave that there. But yeah, let the young kids that are the young teachers go into the school, teach the kids that don't got old people at home. That way, people like me get to have my house back.
I feel you with that.
That's not the
Trust
reason
me.
why I want the kids to go to school. It's just way harder to do e-learning with all these kids. That's all.
No,
Yeah,
I
that's-
agree with that, Cash, and that's up for discussion. The issue is like it's even so with the back to Bobby with the choice thing. So, okay, cool. We protect our older citizens, right? But even the young people, like you should see our union group. Like they do not want to go to school. Like some of them don't. Like my friend, my age, she cried when our CEO said that we were going to virtual learning. She cried with tears of joy. So like, yeah, that would be ultimate. That would be great in a perfect world, but that's not how it's going to be. Teachers are going to end up having to leave the district and quit because they want to be safe.
I
And
get
yeah,
it.
someone just said some parents have parents. Some kids have parents who are young and who are sickly too. Like it's
I
not
get
just
it. Because
that.
then
Keep them
they have to
home.
separate it home.
Yeah,
But
but
here's
they
the
can
thing.
decide not to go.
Yeah,
Right.
they
But the
decide
thing is, too,
they have
you got to
choice.
remember with e-learning, too, you got to remember there's kids with learning disabilities. E-learning is not effective for
I
them.
agree.
They need
I
their
said in my
teachers.
survey,
That's why they have a
it said
special
pre-K to
education
second grade,
class.
kids back and kids with special needs. Absolutely. I 100% agree. It's a huge double-edged sword. It's the worst. It's the worst predicament that we could be in because the spread of COVID is going to happen if we send kids back, and it's going to be detrimental.
That's
You
not
can't say
true,
that.
actually. My kid's been back in school, and
What's
COVID has not came up any
It's
more
being
than what it's
proven
already
that-
been.
Yeah, what
It's being
statistics?
proven in- Yeah, it's
I don't
yeah.
know,
So, all right, Lauren, Jam,
Go ahead,
eat your
Lauren. I'm
salad.
sorry,
Hold
Lauren.
on.
Go ahead, baby.
So real quick, the one thing that Jam said that I do want to touch is the fact that she talked about how these inner city kids are going to go home, they're going to get their grandparents sick, et cetera, and that's going to put them behind. What's going to put them behind is not going to school for a year or doing the e-learning. Like that's actually going to have generational effect. And I don't want any old people to die. But even then, there's ways to separate it. Lauren, if
My
you
daughter
remember
was
what
eating
you're on.
Yeah, so I mean, what Bobby said, like I resonate with every word just about. I think obviously the first month that this hit, everyone was like, what the fuck's going on? And I think across the board, obviously, this is something that we've never experienced or dealt with. And I myself was also a little freaked out in the beginning. And then the way I understand the lockdown and everything like that, the whole point of it was to alleviate pressure from the healthcare system and hospitals. We've done that effectively, and ERs and stuff are not being bombarded anymore. So the goalpost for why we're staying home,
They never really were.
It's whatever peak there was died down really fast. And so the goalpost and the reason why continues to get moved. It's like, oh, we're going to like ease pressure off of hospitals and stuff like that. But now it's to flatten the curve. Okay. Once the curve was flattened, now it's to slow the spread. So it continued to get moved. And like Bobby was saying, like things are so arbitrary. You know, we can go to a liquor store, we can go to bars, we can protest, and like all this other stuff, and yet you can't like go to your church, you know, or go to the small businesses and things like that. And it's just freaking absurd. And I didn't mention this in the beginning, but I run a PR agency and I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. So people who run their own businesses, a lot of online businesses. And thankfully, like myself and many of my clients, peers, that sort of thing, like we've been amazing during this time because we're used to running online businesses and everything like that. But like so many friends who are in like the beauty industry, the service industry, and even like the beauty industry where they go through so much training on how to be sanitary and like everything like that. And like, it's such a middle finger. And you guys, I mentioned already, like I live in California and Los Angeles, and like, don't even get me started on our governor and mayor because it is so asinine what's going on in our state and so arbitrary. And it pisses me off so much because of that like entrepreneur like fire in here and seeing other people just get like screwed over significantly. And so it feels like the lockdown and everything like that doesn't feel like it's very much politicized at this point. And
so do you guys feel like it's a hoax, like it doesn't exist? Because it's almost sounding like
It's not that it's a hoax, it's just nowhere near as serious as they've made it.
Exactly.
Correct.
I don't know, but it's like a deadly vibe. I don't know.
It's
like,
the flu.
With a very low percentage deadly.
I'm just
extremely low.
Yeah, that's like making people panic over influenza.
Yeah, exactly. And so
It's
now,
not,
like,
it's a little more serious than that.
A little.
a little bit,
little.
yes.
Small,
But did not justify. I don't think it justified the amount of businesses that have gone under, the like significant increases in substance abuse, mental illness, like suicide, and everything like that is fucking out of control.
I mean,
And
yeah, I'm sure it was when the Spanish flu happened too. I mean, like that shit, like there's always going to be a consequence to action.
We are way more technologically advanced than when people had the Spanish
and we're
flu.
also packed into places, and it's you can't, people comparing the way that the Spanish flu was handled back then are the same people who are like, well, you can't talk about what Biden said 15 years ago. The world is a completely different place. You can't compare the handling of that then.
No, and I'm not saying the handling. I was just saying that that is like, of course, that any situation when we're going to be locked down, like mental illness, like I up my anxiety meds, like I know, like I'm fucked up too. Like I sit here in this fucking chair all day and go to work. I don't like this shit either. But I think about I think that where my heart lands is this, like, I care so deeply about people. And like, I want people to be able to make their own choices. Like I really do. I just, in my heart, like I hear you guys, I just don't believe that it's is little of a problem as you're saying, and that it's not as a big of an issue as it really is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, well, I'm like sitting here in the middle. Yeah. Like if y'all are over here, I'm like here, and then there's other people that are like over on the other side.
I get it.
That's how
and that's why we had these discussions.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to see that the results, the like unintended consequences are going to be way worse than anything already. Than the deaths from it.
So then I have a question. So then I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, Jam, I'm gonna tell you what. I guarantee you, after this election, COVID is gonna magically disappear.
Yep.
Watch.
Yeah.
I think the stress behind
regardless of what direction. Yeah.
The stress is ridiculous, because I think that one issue is, and we talked about this before, is the media, right? It's always the fucking media. Like the media will be the death of this country. It could be the most righteous thing to this country, right? It really could be either or. I think that what's messed up is that America was like, oh my God, this crazy virus, I'm not fucking going anywhere. How dare you have this business open and shit? And we just kind of like put all this pressure to make sure that we were safe, right? And now we're in this hole. And so now it's a matter of like, well, what do we do? Going back to Anthony, the CDC said this and then this, and the science keeps changing. Like, how do we trust anything at this point?
Right.
Jam, you're sorry, go ahead, Lauren.
Oh no, I was going to say, like, and it's been so interesting. That's the best way I can describe paying attention to everything that's gone on the last like 8 months. Is like, it's interesting, right? Watching how like one form of science comes out and everybody listens to that. And then the same organization might come out with a different set of science, and they're like, oh wait, this doesn't go the direction we were wanting it to, so we're not going to listen to this science anymore. Censored. Like yeah, and it's like, wait, but last month that was the right science to follow, so what the fuck?
I definitely agree with that.
You know why? Do y'all know why I called bullshit on how serious they made this virus?
Why?
Because all the toilet paper was out of stock.
Yo, you're so stupid.
I bought a freaking bidet like in April.
Now
baby wipes.
So, you should see my goddamn bathroom still.
But also, we were talking about this with the freaking same thing, Cash, like the airplanes. I know we mentioned this before. Like, I just flew. Where the hell did I go? Mexico, a couple weeks ago. And
why?
Yeah, you have to do all this stupid, get the fuck out of LA and be on a beach.
I need to get out of the country too,
and not wear a mask anywhere. Right? Like, yeah, because I can. And yeah, you have to like, I mean, I don't wear a mask in the airport. Ugh, someone's going to yell at me for that. On the airplane, because you have to, there we go. And yet, like, yeah, you have to follow the social distancing guidelines, like in line in the airport, like everywhere in there. And yet they pack us in 150 fucking people on an airplane for 5 hours.
Thank you, Linda. I'm sorry, Linda just said this virus is real, the hype is overrated.
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
And then we land, and it took us like an hour to deplane coming home from Mexico because they could only allow 25 of us at a time on the shuttle to take us to the freaking gate. And we're like, wait, all of us have been on the same airplane together the last 5 hours. What? That's where I'm like, see, if it was they were taking it as seriously as they're telling us and as scared as they're wanting us to be, we probably wouldn't jam on this freaking airplane like this, and probably like, yeah, I don't know if you guys like.
Yeah,
All I
that's the
know is
problem.
Nancy Pelosi was eating ice cream, getting her hair done while she was telling everybody that they was gonna die. Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I know.
Bobby, what's Nancy's nickname? Do you have a nickname for Nancy?
Swamp monster, swamp creature, the swamp creature, the swamp creature of San Francisco, nervous Nance, this whole mess.
Everybody be
Crazy
hating Nancy.
I cannot stand her. Okay, so
What's not to hate?
So I'm going to start with Bobby, but it's based off what Jam just said because I want to move into the second part of this topic, which is Jam. You just said, what if we were going like we went? Or no, not what if you said we were crazy. We were all yelling like, "Oh my God, we don't have toilet paper. We don't have all this stuff." Imagine if Trump would have led with fear instead of downplaying it a little bit. Which again, I called in the very beginning. I said he was downplaying it. I go.
Oh.
So hold on, you are not first on this one. Bobby, go.
Go, Bobby, hurry.
Wait, I got overwhelmed by the reaction.
I know.
What's the
Trump's overall handling of COVID as in comparison to other countries, which I will once we're middle of this, I will show the other countries' statistics. But I like his initial thoughts of downplaying it, the way that he actually handled it. How do you think he did a job of handling what is this worldwide pandemic?
Well, I think that he wasn't hiding the fact that he was playing it down. He was saying that even in the beginning. So when I'm sorry, I forget his name. When he came out with those tapes, that was not a new revelation. He had already mentioned that he was playing it down previously from that. So I think that like his words are extremely powerful, quite obviously. So if he got everybody freaked out when everybody was already freaked out, I don't see how that would have been beneficial. But I think that the other thing is like, I don't disagree with the lockdowns. I don't disagree with what happened initially. I think now, 7 months later or whatever, it's kind of crazy at this point. I think he did as good of a job as he could have possibly done, quite frankly. I think that the hospital's got a lot of resources. I think that all of anything that he could have possibly done, he did. I think that shutting down travel from China was something that's never been done in American history ever, and everybody called him every type of name in the book for doing that, and he did it anyways. Even
China's
Nancy even went to Chinatown.
Even Joe Biden insinuated that he was xenophobic and racist for doing that. So I think that it's easy to look back 7 months later and Monday morning quarterback what he did, but quite frankly, I don't know that anybody else could have done a better job. I think that he avoided all of the opinions of the woke mob, which I think saved a whole lot of people. And I think that he did a pretty amazing job, quite frankly. And that's not because I support him unequivocally no matter what he does, but like I don't understand what Joe Biden could have possibly done differently. And I just don't
agree.
So I think he did a pretty good job, quite frankly.
But can I say something that's going to?
No, you can't, Jam. Jam, no, you're not. Hold on.
This is a quick thing. The problem is, and this is what I've been saying from the beginning, because like think of if this were Nancy Pelosi making the same decisions, right? The right wing would be fucking pissed. Bitch, you didn't tell us. The problem is, I mean, the problem is people do not fucking like Trump. So it's honestly like no matter what he fucking does, it doesn't matter because everyone's going to be fucking pissed. So the real issue here is if we had a George Bush or any fucking anybody else, Republican or liberal, that was prior to this, we wouldn't even be in this position of being so mad and so confused. It's literally, in my opinion, and Cash hit me with it because I'm done. In my opinion, I think it was just that Trump was the face of having to be a part of this pandemic. I think that any of decisions could have been right or were wrong, but the problem is it's Trump. Our country is divided because of it. And so we all are making divisive decisions based upon it. I'm done.
But what does that mean? But what I don't understand. So what should he have done differently as a result of everybody?
I'm not saying it's not.
No. What she's saying is what he would have done, they would have hated him.
Oh,
hold on, guys. Hold on. So we actually have somebody that's going to be more on even the much further side than Jam. We've got a guest, an old friend of mine, Lindsay, is coming on. She didn't want to be on because she thought we were meaner. And then she started watching. She's like, oh, I'm down. I can do this.
Okay, but wait, I got something to say.
No,
What?
Cash, don't do that.
Got something to say.
He said I got something for it. Stop, Cash.
No, I got something to say right now.
Oh,
What?
go, Cash.
Okay, look. Everybody's forgetting one key part of all this shit. Everybody's forgetting one key part. Okay? They said lock shit down. They got mad that Trump didn't handle shit the right way, right? All the liberals got mad about the shit. Said that he didn't handle it the right way. Yet, these same motherfuckers let all these people go out into the city and told them, no, they have the right to peacefully protest and burn shit down
Cash,
and
can I
hang out.
introduce our 6 guests?
Huh?
Can I introduce our other
No,
guest?
can you let Cash?
Hurry up.
No,
Introduce it because I got a fucking point to make.
no,
All right.
Cash, and I agree, but that's an amendment right to protest. What you gonna do? Shoot everybody?
It's an amendment right not to have to wear a
Oh
goddamn
my God,
mask.
guys. Sweet heavens to Betsy. She's wearing a mask. We're going to be able to make plenty of time. Just let us introduce Lindsay wearing a mask with her dog, for God's sakes.
Damn, Cash. Give it a minute.
I digress.
Anyways, really quick. Lindsay is going to be thrown in the mix.
Cheers.
Cheers. You've had a few drinks. Love it. Love it. I think she
Girl,
Yeah,
I
I'm
got
a little
2 different
plane
ones
going.
going.
Look.
Holla.
So here's the deal. Lindsay is much more on the, because Jam is, we know where Jam stands. She doesn't really like Trump, doesn't really like Biden. Lindsay is a very anti-Trumper.
Oh God, no.
I'm anti-Trump
But-
too, Lindsay.
but
Don't
you
let him tell you that.
Lindsay, don't be that way. I already like you.
Okay, hey, look, let me preface this. I am not against anything that is conservative or Republican. I am against Trump because I feel like he has drawn and he has perpetuated a divide in the country, and he's just letting it fucking go.
Thank you. That's all I've been trying to say.
Wait, time out. Time out. Say that again.
Okay, I'm not
Again.
in trouble because I'm supposed to be watching this Titans game.
Now, Lindsay, say it again.
Oh,
Say
and
it
you
again.
should watch
Say
the
it again,
NFL.
too.
Okay, keep going though. Let me hear what you just said.
We should be trying to find a way to unite our country with both of these sides. I don't have a problem with you having a disagreement on any. God, I'm shaking. I'm nervous. On
We love you. It's the same thing.
on any issue. Like, I don't. You want to be Christian? Be Christian. You want to be atheist? Be atheist. You want to be pro-life? Be pro-life. You want to women's rights and abortion? Go ahead. I have a problem with the rhetoric that Trump puts out there. Like,
Thank you for getting her on the show.
anybody
Jesus.
else. Anybody else.
So we're
Thank
talking
you.
about
Anybody
that.
else. I
So
said
we're
that last
talking
year.
about that. Hold on, wait a minute.
Trump.
We don't
I know,
necessarily
but
disagree with
I want her to give the rhetoric on the. What is the rhetoric that
I'm
is?
putting myself on
You
mute.
literally just said if you don't want to wear a mask, if you don't want to do this, you don't want to do this. Technically, that should go with if you believe, based on some scientific numbers, that masks aren't effective. You should be allowed to do that and not be hated on it. So, what is the rhetoric revolving around COVID that's so bad that's causing a division that's not media related, that's Trump related?
Okay, let me get my notes here. It is not the same thing as a flu. There are flu vaccines. There is no vaccine for this right now. And you can't go ahead and tell me that you are anti-abortion and you are pro-life, but you're going to use stem cells in order to treat yourself. I'm sorry, I have a dog that needs to go outside.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
time
I'm
out.
with Lindsay. With the Lindsay said it perfectly about the rhetoric. Go ahead, Cash. I'm done.
It's what he doesn't say, and it's what the ideas that he puts out there. It's the things.
Give me one.
Maybe I did say this. Maybe I didn't say that.
No. Give me one. Just give me one.
Give me one.
Every fucking
Okay, so
time.
he said-
Every fucking
He
time.
said, "No, Cash, you and me, let's go." Parking lot.
And Cash, give her a break. Anthony just got her on there. Let her take a
I love her. I'm not mad at her at all. I just
I
want to
love
know.
that Jam
I
gets
have this-
closer
I
to
have
the camera.
I had this conversation with Anthony earlier this week. He said, because he was asking me, he's like, "Okay, so when did they say that they were?"
No. Don't beat around the question.
I
Don't
am
backtrack.
answering your fucking question. Shh.
Come on.
He said that he was like, "This is what the Supreme Court does. They said that marriage equality is fine. I'm going to leave it alone. We can't touch that." But then 2 years later, he comes back and he's like, I'm going to nominate Supreme Court judges that are going to overturn that. It's not, and yeah, Anthony, you were right. It's not going to actually happen. But
She said it's about. We were having a conversation about gay marriage, and she brought up the fact that he chose Pence, who is, more of a. She called him a homophobe, and I said,
No,
ironically,
I didn't.
Yeah, you did. That's actually the exact word used.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, you're right. Go ahead.
Yep. So with that,
he is not a liberal.
I said if you look at the years of the last time that Biden actually was against gay marriage, it actually was vocally in press 2 years after the last time you see it from Pence, and you actually have the first ever president in history that actually came into office that was pro-gay marriage.
He was not pro-gay marriage.
Time out. Lindsay.
This is what we have to do.
Lindsay.
And then he said he's going to change it.
Lindsay,
Yes.
look, I love you. I just want to tell you that.
Mhm.
Give me one thing about Trump that fits the narrative that you just claimed.
Over 20 different sexual assaults and harassments.
Allegations.
Allegations.
That's what I said.
Oh my God.
So are we just gonna forget that everybody that's in that game had allegations, including Biden?
Correct.
Ms. Tara Reid was torn apart. Tara Reid is torn apart.
She likes Biden.
Lindsay likes Biden, Lindsay.
I like anybody. I'm not saying that like Biden's my front runner. No.
See, I told you all liberals say that.
But
my video
But how is that still didn't fit with the claim that you made? That's just an allegation. I'm talking about what you just said. You said that he was what did she say? Dividing, or he said the things that he says is
everything he says divisive. His rhetoric is divisive.
Over 20 allegations.
That's not his rhetoric. That's
not words that he said. This is an allegation against him.
Okay, one of his rallies when he's making fun of somebody that has a speech impediment. That's another fucking thing.
Oh my God! Did you not watch my videos where I showed you that was some bullshit?
No, I've never seen your face. You're not as famous as you think you are.
Can I say something?
I'm not famous.
Can I say something?
I'm not famous.
But regardless of what he said or what he didn't say, for some fucking reason, whatever reason, we don't know. For some reason, our country is fucking divided right now.
Yes, let's stick to that.
For whatever reason.
Divided it's divided because of bullshit in people's fucking minds that jump out and say, he's divisive because of all the things that he said.
No, because my Trump friends won't even talk for no goddamn
That's
reason.
why we're divided, because liberals don't take the time to do the fucking research. They just run the goddamn mouth. That's it.
You are not one of the Trump folks that is an asshole and ignorant. There are so many motherfucking ignoramuses out there right now that like really out here like fuck and liberals alike. Not saying, but that was never the case before.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Of course it was.
It wasn't like that.
Obama divided this country far before Obama did.
What about the
before Trump did? Obama started the divide, the racial divide in this country.
Because people are fucking racist.
I think the media makes it seem like more people are racist. There is racist people. There's no doubt. Here's the thing. Here's what's interesting. We were talking about COVID, and somehow it spun to completely different topics.
You brought Lindsay on here.
I know, Lindsay. I need you to focus.
That's my fault. That's my fault. I got on that platform and I ran with it. Okay, so
we're gonna end up being super short on voter suppression and voter fraud, but we're gonna get there.
Back to COVID, though. It went from we're out of toilet paper and then everything we're out of all baking goods. Like everybody was quarantined and you can't do shit.
Yeah, and if you notice, no offense to people who don't normally use seasoning, I won't name a few, but there's no more garlic seasoning in any fucking store. So all y'all people at home ain't never cooked before to all the fucking garlic seasoning.
And I'm mad that he tried to take TikTok away from me when that was my coping mechanism.
Nah, you know what? I'm gonna agree with Trump on that for some reason. There's something going on with TikTok, and I'm not upset for that. He's so gun-ho about it. There's something.
Oh my God!
This is where we got to get into the global conversation. Bobby, help me out here. Bobby, what do you think on a global level? Bobby and Lauren first, because you guys have just been watching the show down there. In terms of, let's talk about global. What do you think? And I'm assuming both of you probably know the numbers. What do you think of how the United States is actually statistically, Jam, you're an idiot, how the United States has handled it in comparison to other countries? Because based on our media, we have handled it the worst. So Lauren, go first, and then Bobby.
I mean, I think it's really hard to look like the United States is unlike any other country. So it's really I think you almost have to look at our states, obviously, as if we're comparing to other countries and stuff like that on that kind of level. Obviously, like Sweden is a great example of like minimal lockdowns and stuff like that. And they're doing quite well. And at the same time, like the size of that comparing to like the United States, it's hard. It's not an apples to apples situation. So I mean, I think we did, I don't know, the best we could given the situation, but I think there are definitely lessons from countries like Sweden and stuff like that, that on a state level, we could have looked at and paid attention to.
Keep going. I'm just putting comments up, Lauren.
Okay. No. I mean, like I don't really know how a lot of what's been really interesting for me to see is a lot of the like doctors and kind of scientific community who have been speaking up about like lockdowns, masks, all that kind of stuff. And that not really getting any attention outside of being called like conspiracy theorists and stuff like that here in the United States. Again, going back to the like, which science are we following? Whichever one fits the narrative and fits the end goal.
Gotcha.
So
Bobby, once we get through everybody, I'm going to actually go through my little dissertation on the actual global numbers that everybody seems to have a misconception about. But Bobby, what do you think internationally?
Well, I think that the example of Sweden is a great one. I think that there's a lot of other countries that set a really good example in a lot of ways. I think that the vast majority of the world is open at this point, and a lot of them are a lot more open than we are. I think that the way that things have been handled in Australia are extremely scary. What they're doing in Australia is tremendously frightening and just a massive power grab. So I don't necessarily think that it's all good everywhere. But I'll be honest with you, I don't know the depth of details about all of the measures that were taken in all of those other countries. All I know is that Sweden was a really good example. I know that Australia is really frightening what they're doing there. But I've been paying attention primarily to the United States, so I can't speak on with a tremendous amount of depth. But I think what's important to understand is that the science has changed a variety of different times. The number has changed a variety of different times. Hospitals and medical institutions have been incentivized to say that there were COVID deaths or COVID cases so that they could get paid out. They've admitted such. They've admitted that the numbers are goosed in a lot of ways. The official narrative straight from the horse's mouth has been that the numbers have been goosed. And I think that we've done more tests than any country in the world. And I think that I don't necessarily think that a case is the same as a death. And also, when you consider the amount of deaths that are from people with coexisting morbidities, when you consider the amount of deaths that are of the average age of 80 years old, all of the deaths average 80 years old. Life expectancy in the United States is 79. So you have a longer chance of living if you have COVID, but whatever. So I think that the numbers are goosed in a lot of ways. The cases is a deceptive number. And I think that if you test somebody and then you test somebody the next day and then you test them the next day, that's a case and a case and a case and a case. Also, the deaths that are with COVID or are not necessarily as a result of COVID, when you consider that the average pre-existing comorbidities is 2.8 pre-existing comorbidities per person, and that only, I think it was 6% of the people died of just purely COVID. I think if you consider all of those factors, that the fact that this is still going on after all this time is nuts.
What's happening in Australia? I sincerely don't know.
They're like insane lockdown. Like they had curfews where like only one person from your family could leave the house at any time during set hours and only go within a certain distance from your house. Like people are getting fucking tackled in the streets for like not following the rules.
It's still happening.
Also in America, I was thinking that I thought you meant the opposite, that they were just letting everybody go. But the other thing with America is like, because we're so free, we're like really big agents of travel. So like we were up in Asia a lot and in multiple places where people had went to Asia in contact or whatever. So I was thinking from that perspective, as far as Sweden is concerned, it's a much smaller country. So when you get into our country with so many people, it just becomes a major issue. We're brats. I'm a brat. I want my freedom too. That's what we're we're basically the basis of is freedom. And that's really what I think the major argument is here, is like people want freedom to be safe and people want freedom to do what they want to do.
But you could look at deaths per million or deaths per 100,000, and then you could compare the two sizes of the countries, and then you could get an accurate number.
Well, I'll bring that up real quick at one point, right when we get done with this, and then we'll quickly talk about voting. But if you want to know what's going on in Melbourne, this was from somebody I met on Bumble. Moving on. She lived in Melbourne. Took her 4 months to get out.
Melbourne.
Melbourne has been in lockdown since March. I thought, based on her hatred of lockdown, I could actually speak freely about my political beliefs. Turns out she has not responded since I told her about the debates. Moving on. No businesses open. No restaurants. No shopping centers. No beauty. No gyms. Nothing. 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew. Can't go more than 5 kilometers from your house. Only allowed to leave house once a day. And only allowed to go to shops unless you are allowed to work. Only one person per household can go to the grocery shops. No visitors, even family. No one outside of 60 minutes. No, only allowed outside for 60 minutes of exercise. And you have to carry a government permit if you can go to work. Police are FaceTiming people to make sure they're home. Roadblocks to check where people are going. Mandatory face masks, which she thinks is
Where
fine.
is this again?
Melbourne.
No. Wait. Because people take all those. Hello?
How is Australia's government helping those people survive?
So my question is, guys, and this is for all my conservatives on the front line, right? My question is, like, we talk about Sweden, right? We talk about Europe. They shut down completely. Like, no targets were open, nothing. They shut down completely for a shorter period of time, and they're better yet. Like, did we actually shut down completely for long enough to feel the long-term effects of this actually going on? That's, like, really my question.
Yes.
Not everywhere. Not everywhere. I think New York shut down the longest. Isn't that the problem, though, is that we just didn't bite the bullet, shut down for, like, if we would have quarantined for real, for 4 weeks, just a month, and it was for real quarantine, would we be in a better position now?
No.
And that's just
No, because this is something that most people are going to get at some point.
Correct.
So it's
most people.
So,
how can you say that when you said the percentages of people getting it are so low? How are most people?
No.
No, we said a percentage of people dying
from it.
Dying.
There's a big difference. Our country keeps we choose whatever number is highest for our mainstream media to play. Like, oh my God, our numbers are drastically increasing, but nobody's dying. Look at all the new cases, and then they look at it and they go, look at all the people dying this week. Let's talk about the death numbers. So to answer your question, this is what we're looking at on a global level, and everybody says we're doing terrible. So the countries that did the strictest shutdowns are actually having their second wave right now. That's way worse than anything we can imagine. That's what we're saying. It's bound to have people.
Just India.
Where's this from?
This is from World. So the funny thing is, this comes from Worldometer's info here. I'm going to put it in the chat box. What's funny about this is somebody was trying to prove a point against me that we're handling it worse the rest of the world, and I had not seen this. I was like, this is phenomenal. This shows that we're actually handling it quite well. You look at our
we're at the top of the numbers, though.
That's the way that they've organized. That's just the way that they've put us. That's not why we're at the top of total cases. That doesn't mean anything, because look at the difference.
Cases are going in and getting tested. That's what it
right.
Look at India's population and look at ours.
Okay,
and
but
right now India is going through the roof. Their new case rate is drastically higher than I know,
because they're at work calling me to get my social security
back this
number.
up, but I have read articles that are saying that like certain countries are releasing numbers that they're saying like that somebody dies from a symptom of COVID, but they're not classifying it as COVID. They're saying
they're over classifying as.
But that's what America does.
Some are and some aren't. Go ahead, Lindsay.
That was just one thing that I had thought of. But Anthony, I did have a question for you, because now with all of the sports industries, this affects me directly. They are trying to put them in a bubble, and they are like canceling and they're moving games. Like, is that going to go on for the entire season? Because like stadiums are going to be open for 25% capacity?
I have no idea. We'll find out November 5th. Like, honestly, we don't know.
Wait.
And then the cheerleaders are wearing masks, and they're still trying to keep social distancing inside of a stadium.
It's all show. It's pointless, in my opinion. It literally is a show. Cash, go ahead.
Look, man. If COVID was so goddamn serious as they make it, and the deaths is so nuts in America. How the hell Joe Biden ain't got it? All the damn people he sniffs.
Well, he wear a mask when he's sniffing.
He's wearing a mask.
He's wearing a mask.
There aren't that many people. He's not around that many people at his rallies.
I will say this really quickly. Two things. So everybody's yelling Australia. I have friends that I literally talk to that are living in
Me too, because I'm famous in Australia.
I have family in Australia.
In Sydney and in Brisbane, and they said this is not the same as what's happening in Melbourne. Because I actually said to them, I said, "Oh my God, girl, I heard it's going crazy." She goes, "Curtis, hold on. First of all, you're listening to the news. It's only Melbourne." I was like, "Well, honestly, no offense, we don't get that in our news." But she told me, she's like, Sydney's open. She's like, it's not crazy. They're not locked down. She's like, Brisbane's open. They're not crazy. They're not locked down. Perth is open. They're not crazy. They're not locked down. She's like, people are saying a city and then putting it with the whole country. So I heard a lot of us saying Australia, but we have to remember, we go back. It's like if you're in America and they go, oh my God, New York, they're shutting the whole country down. New York shut down really. Did Georgia shut down that bad? I was in Georgia. They really didn't.
No.
I definitely was away. I was away, but Georgia did not shut down as New York did, right? And so this is a thing. Is a lot of times we look at our numbers, we look at different things. You have to realize, again, in America, every state had its own plan.
Yes. Yep.
But the other problem was there was no true plan from the overall federal government, CDC, all these different people, because they didn't know 100%.
They didn't know. Yeah.
Nobody did. It's called, and it's also the Constitution. You have constitutional. The Constitution is set up for the states to be in charge of their own citizens. They're governed by their own.
Yep.
Which also
have federal leadership. And again, this is not going to Trump. This is like everybody in the federal government. Of when something happens, even in one state, we bring in FBI, we bring in all these different NSA and all these different people. But I'm just saying is it's tough to bring that together in America and say, well, this person failed, this person didn't, this was great, didn't, because there's so many things going on that we have to make sure that we look at. And then just the last thing I want to say, because I'm late, I'm sorry everybody, hey, what's up? One thing we keep bringing up is people dying from comorbidities they died from the comorbidity, but they got COVID. Well, they wasn't going to die if they didn't get COVID in the first place, because people weren't dying from just, being obese. They would die potentially later. You never know what else they get. But a lot of people are dying that we say, well, they had comorbidity. Like, that's their fault. Some people had diabetes. They were born with it. They were born with some of these things. And I just feel like sometimes when we say that, that's insensitive, because this person wouldn't have died if they didn't get COVID.
No, that's the whole process.
And I think with that, like, I know, at least from my perspective, it's that's like the comorbidities. Yes, that's true. And it's really important I know that like 6% stat was flying around and getting flagged everywhere. And it's very important to know the difference that, most people who die are going to have comorbidities. That doesn't mean it's any less like of a real virus. And for me, like, the way to take that is that should tell us that, like, healthy people should not be forced to stay home. It's people with pre-existing conditions. Like,
but how do you force them to stay home?
But how are you going to stop the spread of it?
You don't force. You take personal responsibility. If you have a compromised immune system, you should know how to take care of yourself in that way anyway. Because during flu season, during flu season, that's what people I know who have like underlying health issues do. They're paying extra attention.
Well, at the same time, this is a disease that I don't know you have. And I mean, I'm a healthy person. I could spread it to somebody, but it's not their fault that I again, taking the precaution goes both ways. It's self-responsibility, and we have to have it in both ways, because I can't say you need to take care of yourself 100%. I'm gonna live like I want to live because I just want to do me, instead of not having that compassion in the heart to say, okay, let me think about everybody else.
I disagree. See, that's where like I don't think that everyone has to get controlled and restricted for
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Okay.
See, I said take compassion, and when you live your life, live it in a compassionate way where I go, hey, I'm gonna be a street light. And I'm not saying wear a mask all day, wear a mask here. I'm not saying wear a mask, because some people are freaking out, going crazy. I'm just saying, if you're going to ask this person to take responsibility for themselves to be clean and be healthy, they can't control you. So my thing is, okay, I'm gonna do what I can. If I don't, know if I'm not gonna get close to people who have diabetes or whatever else, I'm not gonna live my life. I'm going to enjoy myself, whatever. But at the same time, if I can find a way for other people who are sick to be able to enjoy themselves at the same time, where maybe it's just a little bit uncomfortable for me, then I would do it because I'm an American citizen.
Thank you.
People are dying on the battlefield. Well, hopefully, praise the Lord, not as much now. We're bringing people home, but died for us to be able to have that right to be free, but at the same time to have that right to protect our own.
Thank you.
I am perfectly healthy, but I'm perfectly healthy. But my fiance has 3 different autoimmune diseases, and she's going through a whole lot of medical issues. And so, yes, I'm going to wear a mask, but I would very much appreciate it if somebody else that could possibly have it didn't spread that so that I brought it home to her. Like, that's
the asymptomatic carrier thing is not as
vaccine.
No,
yeah,
Lauren, I think
carrier thing is not as serious as they first thought it was.
That's a part of data, and I think that going back to my the one and only, and I think that that's why I'll never stand on not be a Democrat who's about being for the people, because like there's a part of compassion. I think that this is why the country is divided. People are like, well, we don't have to care for other people. And back before this Trump situation, back when I was in AP politics in high school, we would sit and have arguments, you know, liberals versus Republicans in the class and debates. They were arguments though. And I was crying one day because one of our valedictorian, actually, Erica, she said, well, I don't want to sit here and take my tax money and have people on Medicaid who smoke cigarettes and do that because of this and that and the third. And I'm thinking, my mom is on Medicaid, and God forbid she didn't have Medicaid, she would have already been dead. So like this whole idea of like the COVID situation, and I really appreciate you bringing that up, it's really a matter of compassion in your heart. It's not
absolutely
really a matter of what you believe or don't believe.
I don't agree either.
I don't agree. I think it's been positioned that way very intentionally.
Because that means that if we disagree with you, that we somehow don't have compassion.
That we're bad people who don't have empathy.
I don't understand how that's possible.
No, and this is the thing. Though. I'm not saying have compassion as in a way of saying you're so bad because you don't do everything at your length to make sure this one person doesn't get it. No, my thing is saying compassion is saying, okay, I'll do a little bit to make sure this person's at the same time going to have a good time, but at the same time have a good time yourself, because you have to live your life. And the other part of it is not to take it as an offense when somebody, I'm not saying you all are, I'm just saying for a lot of people, if on any side, you say one thing and people take it offense and they want to gear up and fight. And it's just like, guys, don't take it to heart. Just listen to what they say. And like Anthony's saying on the show, even with Cash, is like, listen to what they say. Okay, great. And I always try to hear if it's something that I don't always agree with, and Anthony tell you, he and I definitely disagree a lot. But I listen to what he says, and a lot of times he will call me out when I get emotional. And I'm like, oh, I am getting emotional. You're right. And that's something that I feel like the compassion side comes in, because it's like the compassion side will say, hey, you're getting emotional. I'm not attacking you. I'm just saying, let's work together on this. Because a lot of things that we're looking at now, it's so funny that we keep arguing about numbers and what was done wrong and what was done right. And I'm like, well, what can we do now to continue moving forward? And that's what we need to get to. Go ahead,
open up.
Okay, so with COVID, and after this shit, can we just move on to the next topic?
Yeah, please, Jesus.
Yeah.
But this whole stupid shit with COVID, after you catch COVID, didn't they say you couldn't catch it again?
90 days.
Right? Okay. Fucking
current research.
Okay, here. If everybody's that done caught COVID, all these cases that they said of people that has caught COVID that can't catch COVID anymore, why do they got to have any kind of compassion about any damn thing? Because they can't catch it, they can't give it.
It says 90 days.
Fuck it, 90 days.
I've had people.
I'm just saying this whole thing. Having to have compassion for somebody because they got COVID or don't got COVID, or how you're gonna live your life and all this shit. When you're gonna survive if you catch COVID, unless you're already sick, which you should be taking the necessary precautions and not take your ass outside. Or if you're really old, then you should definitely take the necessary precautions and not be outside. Why does my life gotta stop?
But not only old people are dying, Cash. Like, yes, the higher numbers are 80. Like
pretty much only old people,
and
some outlier. It's outliers that are not old. And this is what people say to me is like, you must not have lost anybody. I lost a friend. I lost a friend to COVID. I also lost a friend to suicide as well.
Have compassion on the people that can't work right now because they're shut down. Have compassion on business owners that are losing money and losing their businesses.
Have compassion for that
because of this damn virus.
Yeah.
So
it just sucks.
I understand.
It sucks, and it's a bad situation across the board. Here's the thing. The last thing I'm going to say is I'm going to bring this up later. I'm going to do a solo show just on this, just to explain the mathematics, because it's way too complicated with this many people. So I'm going to do something about that later to show really the fact that the whole world has handled it for shit, and the whole world has handled it well. We don't really know yet. The one thing, the last comment, Jan, what you said about Medicaid and smoking and drinking. I don't want to pay for somebody. It's actually a competitive point to a certain level. The issue is not covering those people that need it. It's the fact that we have stopped caring about all the soda, all the food, all the cigarettes, all the things we put into our body, and realize that our tax dollars would be a lot less if we were only helping the people that truly needed it, that didn't do that to themselves. So
unfortunately, that wasn't her argument. I agree with you, but unfortunately, that wasn't her argument.
Word.
And I will
All
say,
right, let's talk about voter suppression. I know Drew Hill is going to be the one I want to have on this, because he is very big that voter suppression is the biggest issue in the vote right now. But I right now, I want to talk about voter fraud, voter suppression. Right now, raise your hand if you think voter fraud is a bigger deal than voter suppression. Voter fraud over voter suppression. Oh, Cash in the middle. All right, no, it's fine. You can keep your hand up. Who thinks voter suppression is a bigger deal than voter fraud? Go ahead, Lindsay.
I don't have an opinion on it. I'll be honest. I don't.
No, that's fair. All right. So again, Curtis looks like you're in the middle. So
honestly, I'm still learning more and more. I'm trying to not just listen to what the media is saying, but looking at what's actually going on. And so certain states, I do think voter fraud is definitely more important than voter suppression. And in certain states, I do think voter suppression is more important than voter fraud. And so it's America. So I can't just do a blanket statement on that.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
I'm going to let Bobby and Cash get off on that. I'll let Bobby and Cash off. So in terms of vote, do you think, since you guys are both leaning towards voter fraud, Cash might be middle, Bobby, what do you think about the fact that people are consistently saying we've been voting by mail forever? It's fine.
Well, I think that the topic is the concern is not about voting by mail when you request a mail-in ballot, which you have to outwardly request. And then they send you the mail-in ballot, and then you send that mail-in ballot back. I don't think anybody has any problem with that, because we've been doing that for a very, very long time. That's all good. The issue,
like 50 of them.
The issue is when every single person gets automatically sent a ballot just for existing. And then that is their vote. That is the thing that sets the stage for the fraud, not voting by mail just in general. Absentee voting is perfectly fine, and it's happened successfully for
exactly. That's been the system, is an absentee ballot. Yeah. That's what it should be. But I agree with him. You know what I'm saying? If you request to get your ballot, then okay, cool.
Yeah,
I agree with that 100%. But like he said, when you're just mass sending out, and you don't even know if the person still lives at that address, what if they just moved? And the new people that are there get them ballots, and then they fill them ballots out, and then they send them back. You know what I'm saying? Voter fraud, you know what, I agree. Voter fraud is the bigger issue, because ain't nobody you can go out and vote. You're not being suppressed. You know what I'm saying? There's no voter suppression that's that bad over the fraud that can happen with these ballots that aren't even absentee ballots. It's literally they sending you anybody can send the ballot in. Anybody, illegal, whoever, and you can fill them out with whatever name and do it. And then they got to figure out, is this a legitimate person? Social security number or whatever it is. And you think they're going to do that? No, if this says Biden, they're going to run it straight through.
Yep.
That's
in California, I mean,
true. They do have
a
system of checking.
But even like in California, we get millions of ballots mailed to people who have moved, died, can't vote, and our processes for purging voter records, like they aren't actually following through with any of that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't think though, Cash, like it's really not a bunch of liberals. It's really vice versa. And I think that I'm about fair games. I fucking couldn't stand my brother and I would play Monopoly. He would cheat all the fucking time. It's just a matter of it should be fair game for everybody. And like the other day, I was telling Anthony, I'm in this group called Patterson Park Neighbors. That's the neighborhood I live in Baltimore. And everybody's got cameras on the doors here. And this lady, she was going around, and I mean, it was a bundle. I was laughing. It's a felony, but I was laughing because she wasn't discriminating. She had coupons, mail, everything in her hand. And for me, it's like, okay, people could of course fill out ballots, whatever, but there's people who aren't going to even get their ballots. So like, fair side, Republican, liberal, whoever, Green Party, some of you aren't even going to get your ballots in time. And so it's just, for me, it's just not fair.
Why not just let us go out and vote in person? Like
that's my thing, is like, what the fuck is the bit, like,
you're letting people go out and you're letting people go out and protest and tear up fucking cities, and we could go to Walmart and we could go anywhere else. We could go to a bar, we can't go.
How are you
longer than the voter lines?
We just said, though, some people have just said the people who are at risk should be staying home and staying safe. They have not done anything. They have not done anything. And I know in Georgia, they have not done anything to keep people with comorbidities safe for voting right now. And that's Georgia.
Absentee ballots. Why can't you just absentee ballot?
Exactly right. Absentee ballot.
I got my absentee. They sent me a packet, and then I filled that out. Everybody thought that was a ballot. It's not a ballot. You have to send that back and request your ballot like that. So my question is, how many states are actually sending out? Give me an exact number if you can, because I hear a lot of things online and on social media and on the news that tell you everybody's getting ballots everywhere. How many states are sending official ballots out to everybody? And then what is their process for validating it? Because I know there's a process in Georgia. They have to check your signature. They have to check a few other things where you actually mail it from, or when you put everything on there. There's a couple things they have to check before you even get it. So that's what I want to know. There's a lot of places.
Not in the states doing mass sending. There is, and I think it's 9. I'm going to look it up when you guys start talking again. Yeah. But it's enough to where it can have an effect on the election. You look at Ohio, and you look at Ohio, 50,000 ballots that were sent out wrong. They were missing something, and they've said, sorry, these are invalid. That's 50,000 ballots in a swing state that, ironically, if you look at the counties that it was sent to, they're typically more rural and conservative counties that the incorrect ballots were sent to. Now, if these people get confused and they don't read the internet or read the news and they send both in, then their single vote is invalid. So right now, if people wonder why the balance of power is going to be in question by Trump, this is why. It's because we are already seeing these massive cases of, oh shit, this isn't being done correctly, and it's a huge risk across the board. I'm going to look up the amount of states.
Anthony, you're right.
Well, you also just said they said it's a conservative area.
Besides from the rural city, it's going to be everywhere where shit is going to be fucked up, particularly Florida. That's going to be the worst, obviously, always. But it's just like, show up to the polls.
Why is it going to be the worst?
Yeah, why? What are you talking
about? We've done that a couple times in our lives.
So it's something in Florida. But my point being, that was obviously a joke.
I don't know.
But my point being,
they've never had hanging chads, though.
Hanging chads.
This whole idea.
But
the whole point is, though, is that really it's just not fair. Liberal, like I said, liberal, right wing, whatever, it's really not fair. Everyone, if they're abiding by safety rules, I'm going no matter what. This is me. I'm willing to risk COVID for some damn voting. But you need to be able to go to the polls and vote. It should be a choice. I agree. It's an American right to be able to vote. And if we can go into Target, we can go vote. And I said it before. If you want to go to a concert, go to a concert. Like, whatever, but I'm going to go vote. I think that, like you all have said, absentee ballots has been a thing. So if you're a person who's not comfortable going to vote, then request your absentee ballot. That's much different than the government or whoever, liberal, whoever you want to say, fucking up a bunch of ballots. The real solution is go get your ass up and vote, request an absentee ballot if you're uncomfortable, versus let's mass produce ballots and keep fucking them up and be crazy everywhere, and people aren't getting an opportunity to vote. Go take your ass to vote. That's
Jam. I agree with you completely, and I'm like, why is like I feel like I'm so dumbfounded about the voting issue because of literally what you just said, Jam. I'm like, why is this still such a big fucking deal? Request your absentee ballot or get your ass to a place to vote.
But that's the other
Right.
thing. Why are we even talking about this so much when the voting center is open? They can go vote if they want to, but people are yelling absentee mail-in voting. Like, guys, it can't be that much. They can go and play person to vote. But at the same time,
Jan, you are not a liberal. I'm sorry, you're not. You are not a liberal.
That's not true.
You are not a liberal. I don't care what you say. You are in the closet, girl. You are damn near conservative, girl.
Jam.
You might be a liberal Republican. That's what you might be. You might be a liberal Republican because those do exist. I think that you're more of a liberal Republican than
you can come hang with me in LA.
I'm a moderate with more liberal identifications.
You're gonna vote Trump.
Oh
Jim,
my God!
What did you say? What did you say to Bobby and Lauren and I before Cash got on, before we got the show started? You said something about like I hate Biden, I hate this. I go, but I gotta vote because I'm what?
What did I say?
You said, well, I kind of gotta be a Democrat because I'm black.
That's not what I said, Cash. He is lying.
That is not true.
I can't be fact-checking support. I don't remember.
That's not what I said. Cash, don't even believe him.
I don't believe
never
Anthony.
say some
I don't believe
ignorant
Anthony
shit like
now.
that. That is ignorant. That is ignorant. That's not what I said. I am not an ignorant person. I have 3 college degrees and working on 2 more certificates and getting my doctorate. I am not ignorant. I would never say some back ass shit like that. I even told Cash, I didn't say that Trump was a racist and that's not what I'm not like that. No. That's not what I said. I said something about, I know I said something, but it wasn't that.
That doesn't sound familiar. So I don't
he might be mansplaining. I don't know.
I might have been mansplaining. My bad.
Mansplaining.
I think there's only like one real true liberal here today.
Lindsay.
And we haven't heard from Lindsay about voting. Lindsay, what's your
okay.
But this is the thing. Are we all liberal because we're free? That's what liberate means.
Thank you. Yeah.
We keep putting
it has a completely different meaning when it comes to politics.
Cash, you're free. You're
that's
a
not the same thing.
Cash, you're liberating
kind of means
yourself.
like slavery.
Liberated is different than liberal.
What does liberal
not really.
mean, Cash?
Liberal means slavery. Means dependent.
Jesus Christ.
I don't know about that. Is that a dictionary?
Liberal,
Is that a dictionary?
I want you to be dependent upon me for the rest of your life.
I think that's a Cash definition, not a Webster's.
That's what Webster says. It says liberal means don't get up and do anything for yourself. Be dependent upon what enslaves you and don't want you to be shit in life. That's what liberal means in the Webster dictionary. It says it just like that.
Really? Oh,
it says that in the dictionary. He's lying. It's
don't fact check me though.
That says that.
Don't fact check me.
Lindsay, you've got a fiance with comorbidities. So did you get a absentee ballot? By the way, I was right. It's 9 different states that have the actual Senate, which most are liberal states. So I don't. Whatever.
What are they?
That's a very complicated question that doesn't exactly pertain to how to do this. It mostly just, yes, she can do the absentee ballot or ballot. I can't, but we also don't have an actual address because we're going through this lawsuit right now, like $1 million.
Don't talk about it. Don't talk
about
it.
Yeah. So if you could properly vote, would you have just done the absentee ballot first?
That's what caused her flare up for her autoimmune disease. But before that, yes, we are both registered. We can both go vote, and we can do that in person.
But would you?
But would you?
Would I what?
Go vote in person.
Yes, that's what we're planning on doing.
Okay. All right.
I'm doing mail-in voting.
You guys are so funny.
No, there's like certain precautions that we take. We wear masks. We take temperatures every day. We do everything that we can possibly do, hand sanitizer, everything like that. Like that's all you can do.
Is your last name Biden?
That's it.
I mean, she just likes to take the precautions. That's all it is. I mean, I would hope my doctor does it, But.
Can I say for the record, I am not drunk. Everybody in the comments don't think I'm not seeing these pop up. My iPad fell. Someone was just like, I thought Jan fell off the chair. Like, I am
Ooh.
I'm in my second glass of wine in like, what, 2 hours?
Look at the one right above that. Put the one right above that.
Where is it? I didn't put that in.
Oh, they just took it down. They just took it down. Look at that. There you go.
That's right. That's
right.
My definition of homeroom.
I have no idea how this even works or who is calling me annoying in the comments.
Cash, someone said you can't be a conservative.
People talk shit.
That's my homegirl right there. That's Amy. She's a very, very.
No, she is not. No, she's not. Lindsay is tired and she was nervous, and this is her first time doing this.
Right, you guys have to give Lindsay a break because Anthony got her on 20 minutes late. He just got her on here.
Well,
you know, I get it. It's one of those things. It's very difficult to be a liberal and then take self-responsibility. I understand.
That's very true. It's okay. It's not your fault.
I think too far any one way, people lack self-responsibility because they'll blame the other.
Yes, Campbell, take precautions, but live your life. Hey, Lindsay, got you.
Lindsay, we're actually very nice. The comments aren't always the best.
The comments, yeah.
I'm just trying to like listen to you guys and learn some shit that I might not know. And fuck. God damn.
Now, you know what I like about this show, and even the comments, negative or not, complaining about who or not, it offers a space for people to take opinions, chew on them, absorb them. Even for me, you know, I not even change, but I absorb what's going on here and really think.
No, you had it right. You changing, girl.
Shut up. I knew you were going to say that.
Look, it's subconscious. It's in the subconscious, girl. I'm telling you.
I was like, fuck, why did I say that? No, but no.
You're part of the silent majority. Y'all just don't know.
Oh, my God. You wait till I show up on my next show with my hat on. You'll see.
They don't make Biden hats because nobody cares. They're literally only hats they have. They literally the only Biden hats are anything but Trump. There isn't actually
I'm not wearing a Biden hat. It won't be a Biden hat.
There are signs like people have the Trump 2020 signs, and then they have Jesus 2020 signs right next to them. There's three houses in a row with Jesus 2020. I'm like,
I vote Jesus 2020, you know.
Trump, that's Jesus. Gotta be a mail-in ballot, right?
Yeah,
Jesus can get rid of the COVID. You know what I'm saying?
You know, did y'all know that Jesus is voting Trump 2020 this year?
Don't put that out there now. Don't lie. Jesus ain't voting for nobody. Jesus like, nah.
A lot of people talking.
Jesus put him in office. Don't get mad at me. Jesus is going to put him in office.
Yo, Anthony, I can't with y'all.
Yeah. All right. We're going to wrap up. Thank God. I'm going to be driving to Dallas tonight. By the way, there is a neighbor next to me here in Omaha that I don't mind the signs, the whatever sign. Her Biden sign is literally about 6 feet by 4 feet. It's huge. I'm like, that's a little fucking extreme. Let's be honest.
Not really. When you see,
can I ask one question before we go?
Those big old boats.
Can I ask one question? And this question is for you, Lindsay. I've been waiting. I've been staying silent most of the show. Usually I talk and I go in, and I was going to rip you apart, but I didn't because I love you.
I saw that you said you were going to rip me apart.
He did say that.
I swear to God, but I didn't. Because I'm trying to be classy and change that behavior in myself. I want to unite, not fight. So I didn't get at you. But I do want to ask you one question since you're on here with all of these viewers, right? Why are you voting Biden?
We're going to be here another hour.
No. It's simple. What is it about Biden that makes you be like, that's the fucking guy for me?
It is not about voting for Biden. It is voting against Trump. That's what it is for me. I support everything liberal and Republican about you.
Lindsay,
I cannot have.
Say Trump died tomorrow. Why would you vote for Biden? Trump is not the issue. It's Pence, let's say. Why would you vote for Biden?
It's
hard, right?
No. It's not. It's because I feel that there is more inclusivity with the Democratic Party than there is with the Republican Party. I feel that there are more voices that are heard. I don't like the things and the way that Trump says things. I don't like the indifference that I see from Pence, like the lack of emotion.
You're swinging again, not talking about Biden, sweetie.
Are those policies?
Her reasoning.
Thank you.
That's her reasoning. Oh, that's her reasoning.
We don't got to drag the sign. We don't got to drag the sign because I got the answer that I wanted.
Cash won't ask me.
We are. Jam. Why? This is it, and that's how we're ending. We're going to have everybody say the final.
No, I want to ask you too, Jam.
No,
come on, Jam. Go. Put me to the test, baby.
Anthony, drive your ass to wherever. I'm done. Next time.
Jam, answer the question. Why are you voting for Biden?
You're in fucking Omaha. You have a long drive.
Cash, ask her.
Now I'm believing you're a liberal, Jam. Now I'm starting to believe you're a liberal. I'm starting to believe it now because you just put us to the test and then you just backed off of it. No, just go to Omaha. Give me your answer. Why are you voting Biden without mentioning Trump?
Because I'm not a fucking Republican.
Ooh,
that doesn't count. That doesn't count. Yeah, I'm going to make this easy. Bobby, why are you voting for Donald Trump without mentioning Biden?
Oh, trust me, there was absolutely not going to be a mention of it. I mean, there's an absolutely massive list of reasons why you should vote for Donald Trump, but I would say first and foremost, execution on what he says he's going to do. Just the execution on all of the things that have happened in the last 4 years. I think that reducing all of the regulations is very helpful to the economy. I think not being taken over by the woke mob and thinking for yourself and believing in freedom. I think protecting the Second Amendment. I think a variety of the decisions that he's made over the course of the last 4 years have been high quality, not only for our freedom, but for the economy, but in supporting the Constitution. And I think that the list is endless.
How come that when Bobby says some stuff but doesn't get specific, Cash doesn't say, "Well, tell me exactly what you mean"?
I'm not.
You could say the Middle Eastern.
He just mentioned things that Trump did that he believed.
You could say the Middle Eastern peace deal. You could say lowering taxes.
You want me to go? I'll give it to you.
All I wanted from Bobby was the specific.
Middle Eastern peace deal, lowering taxes. I mean, there's a whole variety of things.
Thank you, Bobby.
Moving the embassy to Jerusalem, like he said he was going to do, like Joe Biden and Obama said they were going to do, but then didn't. I mean, there's just a whole variety. I mean, there's so many different things, but that's just the first ones that come to mind.
Thank you, Bobby. That's all I wanted, guys. That's all I wanted was the specifics. Thank you. Go ahead.
You see how unliberal that was?
Shut up. I can't stand it.
And here's a good reason to not vote for Biden is purely just raising taxes. I mean, just to simplify it to just that one thing, just simply not raising taxes. And the whole idea that
because Trump paid $700.
I know why you're going to vote Biden. You don't want people to think that you're
but he's not raising taxes over 400,000.
Yes, he is. He is raising taxes.
There is under
100%.
400,000.
I don't make $400,000 a year, and I pay capital gains tax when I sell a property or sell stocks. That's a raise on my taxes. I mean, that's a raise on my taxes.
40% here.
That's one. If he removes the Trump tax cuts, that's a raise on our taxes. That's
I ain't gonna lie. I paid more taxes the last 2 after he made the new law. Because he changed a bunch of the independent contractors. I was getting a lot more before, and I was making a lot more because companies had to change to make sure it fit under that. And Anthony will tell you, because it cut into a lot of people's money. And you all, I don't know you all, I don't want to assume, but I get very passionate about this. Anthony knows, because we are in an industry that you can work 15 hours and make a bunch of money. But the new law changed it where I can't work more than 40 in a week or I get overtime, which sounds nice. But when companies go, no worries, we'll just hire another person and bring them in for the other 8 hours, then I'm in trouble and I lose a lot of money. And that's one thing a lot of people, he lowered taxes. He also lowered the taxes. He's changed the law, and that law has effed me and a lot of people in my
Curtis, that law was changed under Obama, and it actually was Pelosi fighting. No, this is the truth, because I owned a business in it, and it was a Pelosi forcing of the House to move it over to us being the independent contractor was dead. She wanted to kill off the independent contractor, completely the opposite of what Trump wanted. But Trump ended up, they just signed the deals together. So that is actually a direct relation to House Democrats, had nothing to do with Trump. And trust me,
he signed it. He signed it.
At a certain point, you have to sign certain things coming through.
You don't know.
But this is the thing. This is what I'm just saying. I'm not saying I'm not blaming him 100%. I said the actual tax law. That's what I'm saying. So there's things in the tax law that affects different. I didn't blame just Trump. I said the tax law.
I'm going to just make this comment. You are correct. We used to be able to deduct more than other people. And yes, I lost money with the new tax cut because it actually made things under one umbrella. But I also understood that I was actually paying probably 10% less in taxes than other people as an independent contractor and paying myself. It made it a little bit more fair. Am I a fan of that? Not exactly, but hey, fair is fair because
but it goes back to Republican versus liberal. If you think money and you're about your money, that is a Republican platform thing, whether it's Trump or not. And that's why
That's not true.
That's not true.
That is not true at all.
No,
but
as far as
Democrats love money more than anybody.
As far as taxes and shit is concerned, Republicans are typically, and I'm saying that Trump, hear me out, Cash. I'm saying that Trump has probably been the best at it, is making sure that the money and economy is right and that taxes are less and whatnot. I'm not saying that that's a disagreement. I don't make enough money to give a fuck about how much money is getting taken out of my paycheck necessarily. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I agree about the economic standpoint with Trump. You can't argue with that. You cannot argue with that.
Let's close with this.
Yeah.
Let's close with this. It's Trump 2020 to the death of me.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And the reason why is because me as a black man in America, I want one of those 500,000 new black-owned businesses that he is creating with the Platinum Plan. I also enjoy the privilege, and so do a lot of my friends and family, of the prison reform bill. My black ass ain't in jail. So thank you for that, Trump. Also, the opportunity zones that you created a lot of jobs and a lot of opportunities for people in communities like mine. So again, thank you for that, Trump. Also, I know that you're working real hard to save them kids that come over here illegally with people that pretend to be their parents but aren't, that sell them into sex slavery and stuff like that. Thank you for that wall that helps deter that. And thank you for taking them away from them people and putting them in a safe place that people call cages that's not cages. Thank you for that as well. Thank you for all of the things that you've been doing to keep America great again, Mr. Trump. Thank you. I appreciate you, sir. And I hope that you get elected for 12 more years. And you got my straight up. But let me give you the liberal answer as to why I'm voting for Trump. Because I have a fucking brain. And then
you know what? I like that answer. I appreciate that liberal
Wait a minute. Wait, I'm not done. And if I'm gonna piggyback on that and give a more in-depth liberal answer, I'm gonna say because he's not Biden. Because I don't like people that sniff little girls and pinch their nipples when they're in cameras and stuff. And I also don't agree with somebody who's almost on a borderline of dementia. I don't trust him to run the country. I want somebody that's not going to hide in their basement when shit's going down. You know what I'm saying? I want somebody to get out there and speak their mind and not pander to me and dance to Despacito. You know? I want somebody to come out and be bold and not sugarcoat shit that they say. Not lie to my face, tell me a beautiful lie. You know what I'm saying? I want somebody that's going to be rudely honest, like me. When I tell you to go fuck yourself if you think I cuss too much, you know? But I love you and I hope that we can be friends. I agree.
I agree
you know
with you.
I want us all to be together as one, and I don't care what you believe. You're still my people, which is why, Lindsay, I held so much restraint today when you made that little tiny comment. I held restraint. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate you coming on because you really
You're not that famous. That was the comment.
You helped me prove the point, though, is what I was getting at. You helped me prove the point about why people need to research more, why they need to read more.
No, hold on, because I came in this like
I appreciate you.
10 minutes, like walked in the door and I was like, all right, Anthony, yeah, I'll go. I had not done my research. I came in with my passion and my willingness to listen and learn. And I'm getting amazing.
You're amazingly
comments and by other people, but I'm still sitting here and I'm still.
We love you. I'm not mad at you at all. Look, I'm not mad at you at all. I understood that, which is why I kept it cool.
Okay,
and I hope that you come back on, and I hope that you study, and I hope that you research some more. So the next time I ask you why you're voting for Biden, you won't say Trump.
So Lindsay, next week, as I said, and you're welcome to that one, which will be more your strong suit, which is I'm going to have female. Why you're still okay with Trump? Why you dislike Trump? That's your specialty. That's the big thing that you know more of. So we'll have you back on that one. Do you have any final words for today?
I don't. I don't. I don't like being called a confused poor girl. Like that fucking hurts.
Well,
like,
welcome to my daily life.
There shouldn't be
I
this
get called an
divide.
idiot. I get called an idiot, a racist, a hate monger. I get called every day.
Everybody takes it differently.
And
I didn't call you poor. I
part.
didn't call you confused. I didn't say that. I'm not saying that
No,
at all.
it was in comments. It was like I've never been on a platform like this where like I put myself
Don't look at that. Yeah.
Don't leave a comment. I get called a coon. I get called a coon and Uncle Tom from black people and a black ass dumb nigga from white people, and I take it with a grain of salt. Don't even let it stress you out. If I see him ripping you in the comments, I'm gonna tell them chill out. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't see it. But don't let that stress you out. It's people that you're never gonna meet, that they don't even know you. You know what I'm saying? They're just seeing you on here. Don't let that affect you. You're a brilliant person. Keep on doing you. You know what I'm saying? And real shit. Like you come back on, study, learn. We all get together, and the people will see that. Because me and you, we could have went at it right now, but we didn't.
No, like I like learning and I like listening to the things that you guys say.
I'm sorry, Lynn.
Can we please give her a virtual ass hug?
It's like it speaks a lot to you just like jumping into this like with no warning, and once we'd already been going, like absolutely, like that would be fucking scary.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, and I'm sorry that hurt, Linz. I
apologize in the comments.
And everybody should apologize in the comments. And as Curtis said, it's one of those. I said, look at what I deal with every day, but I'm not you, so I can't be in your skin. I don't know what that's like to actually read the comments. I've actually gotten used to it, and it sucks. And honestly, you don't know these people. It's actually the thing that does suck is even when I know them, when they're my old friends, when they're friends of mine calling me stupid, which is what I'm dealing with on a daily basis, and it's mind-boggling. But I cannot understand what you're going through, so I apologize, Lindsay. Next week, it's your wheelhouse. It's your wheelhouse.
I just want to listen, and I want to hear what everybody else thinks and says and absorb it.
I like that. I haven't seen you in years, Lindsay, so I apologize if that was rough. I apologize. Trust me.
Well, Cash, let me tell you something. The only time I'll vote for Republican is if you run for president. Because listen, because I agree about everything you said about Biden. I'm just not voting for Trump. You know what I'm saying? So if you run for president and we make America great again, I'll vote you for 4 terms.
Guess what? Then you might as well just go ahead and Trump, because he's my inspiration. I'm gonna run this motherfucker just like him.
You're voting for policies.
You'll hear the same sound bites and everything. Like, did you hear Cash? He was having a locker room talk, and he said he wanted to grab the girl by the. You know what I'm saying? It'll be all the same stuff that happened with Trump. You'll get that with me. Like, did you hear Cash on insanity? Hell yeah, that was a nigga move, wasn't it?
Different.
Yeah,
I'm an emotional person. It'll feel different. It will.
It'll feel different to a black man that comes out acting like Trump. You know what I'm saying? I even do my hair the same way. I got long hair. I can do it.
No, you fucking won't. Yuck.
I'll do it. I'll come out. I'll be like, yo,
Anthony, please tell him to know.
Yo, listen. MS-13 is murderers and rapists. You got some good people on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Not the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists and the KKK. They need to be disavowed and put out in one voice in America. But you won't hear that part. They will only show you the part where I said there's good people on both sides and murderers and rapists, like how they do Trump. You know what I'm saying?
No, but I'm going to know you, so it's going to be different.
Exactly. Just like I know Donnie. Donnie's the man, bro. I'm telling you, you need to vote for him. Get on the playing.
Johnny Baseball.
You got 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Bobby,
we gonna talk.
Bobby, what's your final thoughts on whatever this Brady Bunch was?
My final thought is that you should not, and you are not voting for a person. You are voting for their policies. So you may hate him, and you may hate what he says, and you may hate what he looks like, and you may think he sucks and he's a very bad, very evil person. But if you agree with his policies, you are voting for policies. You're not voting for a person. So vote for the policies you agree with, not the person that you agree with.
Thank you, Bobby. I agree.
Yes.
Lauren, what do you got?
Lindsay, I love you.
I would just say, like, thanks for having me on again. This is always fun and exciting and lively. And I think at the end of the day, the most important thing to keep in mind is that we're all humans first, right? And I know for myself, like, obviously, like, there's a handful, just Anthony and Cash are the same people as the last time I was here. But even when we disagree, like, left the last call, leaving this call, like feeling like so much awesomeness toward every fucking person on here. Like it's amazing. And so that's like more of this kind of thing. We don't have to end the conversation agreeing, and we can still treat each other as humans at the same time and have totally different perspectives.
Exactly. Good job.
Curtis.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. I literally, it's the weirdest thing. I take a COVID test once a week because I do travel, so I take it so I don't have to, quarantine. And it's funny because this is something that, and this is just my little last few words. The fear and shame behind getting COVID is getting out of control. And I do my best to not feel, and I know I do take all the precautions. Anthony will tell you my big mask that I wear. Like I wear, I think I got.
Well, you're probably wearing one that's actually somewhat effective.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's the point. But at the same time, when I get tested, it's like you get this like pit in your stomach, and you're like, oh, I don't know, and I know I'm negative, but it's the fear. And so I just want to tell everybody for anything, if it's COVID, if it's voting, if it's anything you're going through, don't let fear drive you, because fear will cause you to hate your brother. Fear will cause you to hit somebody, kill somebody, do something that you don't really want to do. That's not who you are. So my biggest thing is don't live in fear. Vote for who you want to vote for. And again, like Bobby said, vote for what you believe in on the policy, not just the person, because the person's not going to be perfect, whether it's Biden or Trump. No offense, these two guys are nowhere near the best two people in America that could be a president, but they're who we have right now. So, hang in there, do what you're going to do, vote policy, not person, and don't live in fear. Let's live in love. And I love Anthony. I love everybody here. And I just want to say, go LeBron for another championship for my Lakers.
Don't you talk about that shit on this.
Overrated.
And then after you follow up with that, talking about neither one are the best. No, Biden's not the best. Trump is definitely the best.
Okay.
Whatever.
All right, so Curtis, I think Curtis just explained exactly what I go through every time I get my HIV test back, and I'm like, ooh. Okay.
That's another one.
I ain't gonna say it because you is hilarious.
It truly is. It's the new STD. Correct statement on the side panel over there. All right, guys. Thank you all for joining. I want to remind you guys, tomorrow we've got change makers. We've got Seth Rotberg. It's just going to be him and I, because we're going to talk about Huntington's chorea, the disease. His mom had it. He's got it. My dad's girlfriend had it. My dad had multiple sclerosis. So we're going to have a discussion about how to overcome knowing what is in front of you. So that's going to be a cool change maker. He's a motivational dude. You guys are going to like it. You guys are going to enjoy it. Aside from that, the one thing I didn't really get to talk about is the whole thing with Blexit, which I'm just going to give news fact. The Blexit March, they're saying people were paid to be there. There's a huge difference between being paid to be someplace and having your travel costs covered for those of people that wanted to be there. There's a huge difference. Anyway, so good for the Blexit stuff. Google it. It's actually pretty cool watching 2,000 Black people singing and doing all this cool stuff. Definitely check that out. Everybody had rhythm. Check out Bobby's page, Take Naps. He's got new gear. He's wearing the big blue. He's got, what's the hat that you have on right now? Big blue. Bobby Sausalito.
So are you doing it?
Don't forget about the face diaper, of course.
So you gotta watch some of his stuff, and it's like
I tease everybody.
Yo, Bobby, me and you got a collab, by the way. I'm gonna be calling you, bro. I'm hit you on Instagram after we done.
Let's go.
All right, so we got Take Naps. We got Lauren and Cash and I are going to be part of something called ConserVengers. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully, I can organize it a hell of a lot better than I did tonight. So I thank all of you guys for being on. And if you want to help us out, patreon.com/BeTheChange. And if you want any of the gear, Cash, final thing, what do you got?
I was going to ask you if you can, even though all of you guys are gorgeous people, middle. Put me and you up. Put me and you up on here, Anthony.
Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah, how we're gonna add. All right, we're gonna drop you guys back. You guys don't have to leave. Just gonna go backstage, and then we'll have like a 3-minute wrap at the end.
I don't do behind the scenes. I'm out.
Later. We're getting there. There we go. All right. What's up, Cash?
Well, that was a good show. I did good, bro, because I didn't do what you thought I was gonna do. Right? I did good. I united. That being said, I'm gonna be going live here in a little bit on YouTube. You guys should join me. But Anthony, you ready?
Yeah, of course. Always.
Unite. Don't fight. Be a street light. Because only you can be the change that you want to see in the world. When you get too stressed out, gotta remember to pray, America.
Woo!
Yeah, brother!